Okay, welcome guys. So this is a question from 2023, paper 2, Gce, like this. I believe it was question number 9. Alright, so the question reads, a lady intends to bake 2 types of cakes, type A and type B, for sale here. She intends to bake at least 30 cakes, so the key term that we have here is at least. So underline it, then we'll come back to it. At least 30 cakes of type A, and at least, again here we have at least 20 of type B. The number of cakes of type A must be greater or equal to the number of type B here. Okay, we'll come back to the greater or equal to here. I'll just underline it there. So the total number of cakes must not exceed 90. So means that they should be 90 or less here. Okay, so must not exceed. So get back to these phrases here. Like that there. So question A here says, taking X to represent type A and Y to represent type B here, write the four inequalities to represent the information above here. Okay, so now, so we'll start our solutions there. Let me just broaden the tip a bit. Alright, so here we're saying that, so that's for A. So we're saying that we let X here be equal to type A, and we let Y be equal to type B, like this here. Now let's go ahead and try to simplify or try to get the inequalities that we need from this here. So the first inequality there is going to be for type A. So remember, type A cakes is supposed to be represented by X here. So here we're going to say X here. Then we check here. We're told to say she intends to bake at least 30 cakes. So for at least, we use greater than or equal to here. So mean that type A, which is X here, is at least, so greater than or equal to 30, like this here. So this is the first inequality that we have there. Then, and at least 20 of type B. So here again we have at least. So here again it's greater than or equal to. So we're going to say Y here for type B is greater than or equal to 20 degrees, like this here. Okay, so we go to the third part. Now here we're told to say the number of type A cakes must be greater or equal to the number of type B here. So here we're going to use the greater than or equal to symbol. So mean that the number of A, which is X here, must be greater or equal to the number of B, which is Y, like this here. Okay, so this is our third inequality now here. Then we're being told to say the total number of cakes must not exceed 90 here. So must not exceed 90. So meaning that they should be less or equal to 90 here. So if you add the cakes of type A and the cakes of type B, they should not exceed 90. So meaning that here we're going to say, that's equation number 4, or inequality number 4 here. We're going to say type A, which is X here, plus type B, which is Y, should be less or equal to 90, like this here. So these are the first 4 solutions, or the first 4 inequalities for question A that we have there. Okay, let's go to the second part here. Using a scale of 2 centimeters to represent 10 cakes on each axis, draw X and Y for X between 0 and 90 and Y between 0 and 90 as well. Shade the unwanted region, indicate clearly the region where the solutions of the inequality lies. Okay, so now let's go to our graph below here. Okay, so for B there we not say that in the x-axis we're supposed to have from 0 to 90. Then as well for the y-axis we're supposed to have from 0 to 90 as well here. Okay, So I'll make a disclaimer. So this graph here is not as accurate as the graphs, the normal graphs are. So I'll just, the answers or solutions might differ a bit from the ones that you might find on the actual graph. So this is just an estimation, and then we get an idea on how to go about the whole question there. Okay, so if this is our x-axis here, or this is our y-axis rather, so remember to always use a rule. Okay, like this, and then I'll have my x-axis here on the bottom there. Like that there. Okay, so remember to use a rule. I don't have a rule with me, or I can't use a rule with this device that I'm using here. So for you, you need to draw straight lines there. So in the x-axis here, so this is the x-axis, and this is the y-axis here. So mean that we're going to start from 0 here. We go to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 like this, and we have 90 there. So the same thing in the x-axis, we have 0 or 10, 20, 30 here, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 here, like this. Okay, so we're short of a box this side. I'll just do this here. Let me just erase this so that I draw the thing from this side here. Okay, so I'll have to put my y-axis just outside here so that we have okay, sorry. Okay, so I'll have to put my y-axis here on the edge. So the graph paper that you have with you there is enough for you not to put the y-axis on the edge this side here. So for me, there's a missing square on the other side. That's why I had to bring it back to the edge this side here. Okay, I think that should work now. Okay, right, like this here. So we have x there, and we have the y-axis this side here. Okay, and we have our y-axis there, like this here. So we're saying this is 10, so we move from 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90 on top there. Then even below here, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, So I'll just write again the inequalities that we have here so that we can just try to solve them together then. So we have x is greater than 30. So here we have the first inequality that we have, x is greater than or equal to 30. Then we have y greater than or equal to 20. Then we have x is greater than or equal to y. Then x plus y is less than or equal to 90, like this. Okay. Alright, this should be it now. So we have x being so x is not in there, so we have x being greater than or equal to 30, like this. So mean that we go to where 30 is here on x. So 30 is on this point here. So we draw a straight line, a straight vertical line on x here, like this. So remember, on your graph, your lines are supposed to be straight. You have to use a calculus, or you have to use a rule there, sorry, like this here. Okay, so greater than, numbers that are greater than 30, we find them on the right hand side, this side. So I mean that we shade this side here, like this here. Like that. Then we go to the next part here. Y is greater than or equal to 20. We go to the y-axis here where there's 20, 20 is here. We draw a straight horizontal line here. Like this. Then now, bear in mind to say that y greater than or equal to 20, we're talking about numbers from 20 going up, so meaning that the unwanted region are numbers below 20 here, so meaning that we're going to shade the down part here. Like this here. Then x is greater than or equal to y here. So x is greater than or equal to y, so meaning that when x is 10, when x is 0, y is 0, that point there, another point there, there, like this here. So meaning that you are going to have a straight line there. Like this here. Okay. Good. So we have our straight line there. Then we need x being greater than or equal to y, so we need to shade the region that represents that information there. So the region that represents that information is all the values that are above this straight line that we have there represent this relationship that we have, x greater than or equal to y. So mean that we shade the unwanted region, which is the region below here. Like this here. Then now we have this inequality that we have that we need to illustrate there on the graph that we have here. Now if x, when y is 0, x is going to be 90, so we go to where 90 is here. Then when x is 0, rather, okay, so when x is 0, y is 90, so we go to where 90 is there. So you can just put a straight line there. So a straight line will pass through that point, there, like that. All the way to the bottom here. Okay, so you can just draw a straight line here. So remember to use a rule. For me, I can't use a rule with the device that I'm using here. Okay, so less than or equal to, we're talking about the region that is below here, so mean that we shade the unwanted region which is on top this side here. Like this here. Okay, so you can just go ahead and label the lines that we have. So this line here is x plus y less than or equal to 90. Then this line that we have there is x greater than or equal to y. Then this line that we have here, x is greater than or equal to 30. Then the line that we have here is for y greater than or equal to 20, like this here. Okay, so now when you look at this here, we have these points here of intersection here. So we have these 3 points of intersection there. So let's go ahead and get the coordinates that we have there. Then we try to solve for the solutions there. So this is the region that we have on the middle there. Okay, so once you do this, once you do what I've done here, representing the information that you have on a graph paper like this, then you've answered part B of the question there that says you need to you need to put the information that you have on the graph like this here. So now let's go and read what question C reads on top here. So now C here reads the profit of, so the profit for cake A is 30 and the profit on type B is 50 here. How many cakes of each type must be baked here? Okay, so it's supposed to be baked, must be baked to make a maximum profit. So what we just simply do here is so here we're going to erase this. So I'm going to erase what we have here so that we answer C nicely there. Okay, so the profit on each cake there, so that's for C. So for A, we have 30 x like this plus 50, which is the profit for B here, like this here, is equal to 50y. So we use y for type B there, is equal to, we don't know what the profit is going to be there. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get the coordinates of these points of intersection that we have here, these points of intersection there, and at that point there. So this point of intersection here we have 30, 30. So that's what my graph is telling me. So you have to check also what your graph tells you there. So here we have that point there is 30, 60, like this. Then this point of intersection here is so that's 44 point, comma. So let's place it on the middle there. So that's 45, 45 there. 45, 45 like this here. Okay, so my graphs are not accurate like this here. Okay, so now what we're going to be doing here is we sub these values here into this here, then the maximum values, then whichever will give us a bigger value there, we get the coordinates as the number of cakes for A and the number of cakes for B here. So let's try on the first part there. We have 30, 30, so we're going to say 30, where there's x we substitute 30 plus 50, where there's x we substitute 30 here. So then this will give us, so we have 30 multiplied by 30 plus 50 multiplied by 30 there. So this gives us 2,400 here. So we have 2,400 kwacha like this. Then the next part, we go to these coordinates there. We have 30 multiplied by 30 plus 50 Okay, so plus 50 multiplied by 60 here. So 30 multiplied by 30 plus 50 multiplied by 60 here. So this gives us 3,900 like this. And then we go to this part here where 13 multiplied by 45 plus 30 multiplied by 45 like this. So 30 by 45 plus 30 or plus 50 rather, sorry, plus 50 here. So this is supposed to be 50 there. So plus 50 multiplied by 45. So we have 36 here. Like this here. So now, when you compare these values that you have there, okay, so when you compare these values that you have there, you notice to say that you are getting the bigger value on 30 of type A and 60 of type B here, giving us the maximum profit, which is 3,900 there, or 3,900 there. So meaning that the answer for C here, okay, so the answer for C here, you need to bake 30 cakes, 30 of type A cakes and 60 of type B cakes there. That's for you to make maximum profit there. Then D, the question reads calculate the maximum profit. So you just go to this part here we've calculated, the one that gives you the maximum figure that you need there. So if it's 30 type, so I simply just say we have 30x plus 50y. We need to find the maximum profit here. So I'm saying 30 of type A, so I have 30 multiplied by 30 plus 50 multiplied by 60. So the maximum profit there is going to be 3,900 like this. Okay, thank you. So that's how we go about that question that we have there. All right.